I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Very pleasant good day and welcome to Current Saskatchewan. It's the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series here. Bringing it at Steve Laycock on his home ice of Swift Current Saskatchewan versus Josh Bryden from Regina. I'm Dave Schmel, and we're happy to be joined here by Jim Nix today. Jimmer, how you doing?
Doing well, Dave. Doing well. Looking forward to this one. Steve Laycock's a name we've heard a long time over the years. So I don't know too much about Josh Bryden, but I expect it to be a good one.
Absolutely. We had a great game in our last matchup on the feature between Team Peterson and Team Seltzer. Came right down to the very last, and it was Team Peterson with 40 TC at skip able to pull it out. And right now we have Laycock throwing the red and Bryden throwing the yellow. It is Team Laycock with hammer here.
Yeah, see, the format's different for the men's and the women's in this event. Quite often they're the same, but due to the number of teams I suspect on the women's side, they're playing a triple knockout, and these guys are playing pools from what I gather.
Yes, it's 16 teams on the men's side, and there's 19 teams on the ladies' side, which is what's necessitated that triple knockout and a Monday final. So here's Chris Heikart. Going to come underneath cover here. He has some backing. Now, one thing we noticed in the first game today, Jim, is that there wasn't an exceptional amount of finish in the ice. I mean, it still curled a good bit, but it wasn't that, hard put in the blinker and make a hard left turn.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen most of the year, almost no matter where we've gone. So it'll be different for sure. You just got to manage it differently usually. It's you gotta kind of get rocks a little tighter and work it that way.
And it was certainly extremely weight sensitive with hits. We did see it curl quite well from the inside out as opposed to the outside in at hit weight. So a little bit opposite of what we see many weeks, but ice is the same for both teams, and this is by no means a poor ice surface at all. I'm not trying to be critical of the ice makers at all. I would never, ever do that, if anyone knows me.
Yeah. No, it sounds like it's just a little bit old school, sort of, as far as the curl goes. It's kind of sounds like you're describing what we would have played on for a long time, for a lot of years, where rock would curl pretty good going one way, but not so much the other way.
Well, so here you go. This is a little down weight shot coming from the inside out. Comes off the center line, does make it all the way off the forefoot, make contact, and actually will spill out of the rings, and it leaves Bryden line 2. Laycock with his first. Looking to come right on in. Now, as you mentioned, Steve Laycock, no stranger to the spotlight.
No, not at all. I don't have his portfolio in front of me, but it would be very extensive and still remains pretty extensive. He plays a lot of mixed doubles as well, and I think they're about him and Martin are ranked about 4th or 5th in the country, if I recall. So,
well, he does have 10 Brier appearances to his credit.
Wow.
That's exactly 10 more than both of us put together.
Yeah, it is. No, well, actually, I sort of have a half of one. I played for Nunavut in 1 year, and we still had the not retrogression, what's called relegation. So we didn't get in, but we did get to play to get in Newfoundland. Actually, of all places, that year Brad Gusha won his Brier was in Newfoundland. We were there.
You're saying Brad Gusha won a Brier? Get out of town.
Yeah.
That one does not make it far enough to be shot stone, so it does leave Bryden line 1 and just split the rings to put the force on here, buddy, eh?
Yeah. I got to be careful with this. You don't want to leave a double, so either real high or real low.
So we'll get a chance to see how it goes in the other direction. Taking that broom right in the middle of 4 foot is Josh Bryden.
Yeah, he has to make sure he doesn't curl, obviously, outside of the 8 foot. He has to have a full 8 foot or a little better. Bryden hasn't played yet this weekend, correct? And I believe Laycock played 1 game already, according to what we see in the little curling zone update on the event.
Now, Joshua plays for the University of Regina in 23-24. There's a skip there. From Campbell Collegiate High School. This one does need to go a little bit, but it should be okay. Just want to make sure, as you mentioned, Jim, no double.
Yeah. I think he's okay. Laycock might take a run at that, but in the first stand, I think he'll take his point and be okay with that.
He's giving it a good long look.
Oh, the dreaded 2 schools of thought. You can figure, well, it's the first stand, let's take a shot at it, and we don't get it. Worst case scenario, we give up 1. Or you play a little bit safer than that.
So looks like he will take on this double takeout here.
Looks like Meechan's throwing the last run with these guys, according to his sweater. He's playing it.
Giving it a shot. Sean Meacham hit it. It's just going to hit and stick. It'll be a single point. And a score of 1 for Team Laycock. They take that 1-0 lead. Bryden will have the hammer when we come back from Swift Current right after this on Curling Stadium.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
And welcome back to Swift Current. It was a single point for Team Laycock, with Sean Meacham skipping and throwing the last rocks. Steve Laycock playing in the mixed doubles qualifiers this week. So this is Jaiden Whitmire throwing lead rocks for Team Bryden. Now, if this lead for Team Laycock will be kind enough to slide far enough out and stand straight up, we will know who he is. If anyone in the chat knows, please feel free to chime right on in. Krupski. Mr. Krupski.
Okay.
Now we can sleuth. Well, the stone from Krupski is going to come up as a guard, not covering the shot stone at all. Did not get the finish out of that. I think they were looking for more.
Yeah, judging by what I've seen so far this year with all the events that we've done, it is a little bit out of the norm not to see a big hard finish. So I'm sure a lot of these players are kind of the same too, where they just have to make a bit of an adjustment here early on in this event, and it'll be fine. As you say, nothing wrong with the ice, and it's certainly got enough speed and it has enough curl, but it's just a different kind of a curl, and you've got to approach it differently for sure. And guards will be a little tighter, all that kind of stuff.
And Whitmire does get past that guard and make the takeout, and we have a clean house again. And Jim, I am willing to bet a fair amount of the tea in China that is Tyler Krupski.
Tyler? Okay.
Tyler Krupski appears to have played in Regina and in Moose Jaw. So I'm going with that.
Okay. You got me.
Or nope, it could be Austin Krupski. That looked, I got his picture up now too. This is going to be close. So sorry, China, I need more tea. You know what? He looks quite young. Anyway, that's a second guard, and now Team Bryden's going to try to draw on in.
Yeah, so he's taking middle 8, so he's playing just 3.5 feet of curl in the shot, and I suspect if you're out at all, it's working hard on this, though.
This one is going to come on in, and we've seen that, we have a couple lines that go more than others, and so we still have nothing in the house. Sean Meacham is going to look to clear that guard. He thinks that that's a danger rock. I think he'd be correct in that assumption.
Yeah, you could do this. If you felt real good about draw weight, I think you'd probably come around the double reds. It would be a little bit more aggressive option, and probably not something that should hurt you that much. So, but he's going to get rid of this corner. Nothing wrong with that either. Except there's still going to be a corner there.
Did in fact leave the corner, and I'm going to give credit for the orange jersey to Austin Krupski. just out of juniors recently. Seems to fit the bill.
Yeah. And it looks
Here's
like he's got some hoops, so that's good too.
Yep. Yeah. Here's Carter Williamson. They want this to curl. He needs to curl for days. Only curled for about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll get it sorted out here in a little bit, and that was just a bit of combination of weight and probably ice. It he had another 3 feet on it. He would have got it half buried probably. I don't think he would have got it fully buried, but he would have got at least a piece of it around.
And the takeout attempt by Heikert is made and does get her under cover nicely.
Yeah, well done. It did curl fairly hard, actually, and to your point in the last end about it curling from inside out quite well, and that was, for a takeout, that was curling pretty good going out there.
Here's the first from Adam Bukarek. This one's coming over. It's going to be really tight to the guard. It does get by. It just wicks the red further under cover and rolls wide open. So opportunity for Sean Meacham to put the force on here.
Yeah, real good opportunity to force here. Stay anywhere here, really, in pretty good shape.
And he's going to be even a little bit more aggressive here, I think.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he's trying to hit this just right on the nose rather than roll one way or the other, because whichever way you roll, Bryden's team's going to play to come around to it, so we'll probably just soon have to do something with this one.
Was a good finish there right at the end. It took a long time to start to curl, but it did take it. There's a fair amount of weight on that stone.
Yeah, exactly.
So now Bukarek is going to try to make that pop and flop over underneath cover. Still a chance for a deuce for Team Bryden. I think Team Bryden paid off the letter people on the scoreboard to firmly announce their presence to the world.
Yeah, taking full advantage of the space allocated, that's for sure. I don't know if we can blame him for that, but if he has a brand, and that's a brand, then he's done a good job. Think how big my name could be on there, Dave.
Oh, my goodness.
3
it
letters.
Would be, yep. Nix!
Yeah. I don't think it could be any bigger than Bryden's. It would just look a little bizarre. But anyway,
that's
here we go.
That's maximum font size for sure now.
Yeah.
That one did not roll under cover for Team Bryden. And so Sean Meacham skipping for Steve Laycock this week. We'll try to tuck one underneath and keep the force in order. Or would he rather stay open here, Jim?
Well, I would rather roll on this one because I figure that I'm going to force him either way, and I might as well take a chance that he misses a draw and steal 2 rather than just steal 1. So I would try to roll this. I don't know if he's trying to. It looks like he's just kind of flopping back to the middle, but I would have went for the corner, give him the draw to the 4-foot, but what the heck, he's just got a wide open hit now. So
yeah, maybe he'll take that on with his next one because look in the position of all those guards there. They have to at least be in your eye path for a draw.
Yeah, certainly, yeah.
In reality, it may not actually be in the draw path, but it's where you're used to looking for it.
Yeah.
we're on sheet 5. We featured sheet 2, the last draw. But this seems to be tracking very similar to that. So good to see the ice is consistent across the barn.
There, 6-sheeter here, is it, Dave? I haven't seen enough of it to know.
Yeah. Sean was telling me it was a 6-sheet facility, built around 2009.
Okay, not real old as far as curling clubs go. This looks fine.
So now with the danger, the deuce averted with a hit. Now, which side do you hide to?
Well, I'm going to go the short way, the shorter way to just so as we look at the overhead, it'd be to the right. It's just a little shorter roll, a little bit easier to make it. I would have had the same comment on Bryden's shot, actually. I probably would have tried to roll that in behind the corner as well, just figuring looks like I'm going to be forced either way. I might as well try to get it in there, and I might get a half miss and be able to get 2 out of it.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised you didn't take that on myself.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, you roll out and he comes around a corner or something and you've got the draw. You got to make the draw anyway, so. Yeah, man, it's early in the game. He might not feel 100% about playing draws, although he made 2 in the first end, so.
Here's Sean Meacham with his final in the second. They're going plan B here and trying to play the long way now.
I think he's going to roll out.
He does. But with that said, the force is still on. It'll be a draw for 1 for Josh Bryden.
Yeah, just a little over aggressive with the sweep there, trying to make the roll, and you just got a little bit too powerful, which happens nowadays every now and then when you're trying to do that, especially if you're trying to move it, trying to carve it a little bit. You got a good powerful sweeper or 2. Sometimes it gets going a little too far, and there's no stopping it once it does. It's like, uh-oh, just watch it go.
Oh, absolutely. Josh Bryden, final zone of the second end. Needs to grab a piece of the 8-foot to score. Facing 1. The boys are on it. They seem to like it. It's coming on down in the house, and they like it with very good reason because it is right on the lid. Score of 1, and we are all tied up. Meacham will have the hammer. When we come back, you're watching Curling Stadium.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, yeah!
Just 1 more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Back to that sometime.
And we're back here from Swift Current, Saskatchewan. It's the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series. This spiel sponsored by the S3 Group, Sasktel, Bumper to Bumper, Hardline, and Asham. Dave Schmel, joined by Jim Nix. Jaiden Bishop is on the production on the ones and twos, and you are here with us. We thank you so much for joining us here. If you have not yet, please give us a like and subscribe. It really helps us bring you more curling, just like the 24/7 curling replay stream that we now have running on our channel. So that's right. You can go on to the Curling Zone website, and there is always a game running at random. You don't have to pick. Just settle on in. You'll get a commentated game. And it's there all the time. And I just saw that today. Now, our colleague Sean Joyce, I was talking with him, Jim, and I told him, just imagine you could wake up to the sound of my voice.
Yeah.
To which he astutely replied, how do you not know that that's my white noise to go to sleep? So here's Austin Krupski. Making a play on this one. It's going to come right on up, almost to the nose.
Hasn't been too much happen yet so far, Dave. It's been pretty up and down. Last end had some potential with all the, 4 guards up there and 2 on each side, but they never really, other than one hit and roll, they never really got used at all. So it's been a little bit straight up and down so far, but.
And this end just has a single guard, and Bryden's team electing to hit and roll open here, so we may be looking at a relatively simple end here. Now Meacham's going to try to roll underneath cover. It will be an extremely short run back, even if the roll is made perfectly.
Yeah, I'd probably roll this 2/3 buried or something like that would be better than maybe even right behind it. Right behind it, you can make it straight back and stay buried. You'd rather not have him be able to do that, even though it would be very, very short for a double.
They're edge on edge, so you're not going to be able to roll under. So Bryden making the call to come down to it with bumper weight. No problem. I'm going to get the hit and the stick.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like Bryden's going to be quite happy if he can take the hammer to the 4th end, get back on the even ends. And
Josh Bryden comes from a big curling family. His grandfather, Gary, skipped the 1998 Canadian Senior Med Champion.
So he's going to go a little too far.
Yeah, they had to work hard to hold it. Now you have a chance to make a better roll now. You never know when those opportunities can, just come up right in front of you.
It's a new area for them. It's going to be a little tough to get this exactly right, but
they're trying to work it over. This is outside, and it's just going to make it back up to the nose.
A little bit straight out there, and you can counter that with adjusting your weight a little bit if you like, or moving the broom in. Sometimes it gets a little disconcerting looking at the broom on the middle of the stone sort of thing. So everybody starts to throw it harder, which doesn't really help. So might be better off just taking a little weight off it.
Now here's Laycock trying to make the same roll. This one's going to go a little bit too far. Does roll behind the tee line, so. Hit forthcoming. For Adam Bukarek.
Strong sweepers on this Bryden team. All the young guys are all pretty good technique, and certainly could move a rock if they have the opportunity.
Such a big part of the game anymore. Not going to win much without good brushers in front of you. And Adam, who we just threw, he was also on the University of Regina team. As you see Laycock make that hit. That's probably high enough on to take a shot at it.
Making the roll, yeah, I think so. I think it's nobody's been able to really make one. Only been one made so far, so it's going to be a challenge, but I think I'd take a shot at it for sure. But, it might be smarter thinking not to do that. It might be smarter thinking just to hit that stay out there and go ahead and blank the end. You could get forced if you make the roll here, but if you make a good roll, which would fall a little more in line with how you appear to be playing this end, but seems to have switched a little bit now.
It's going to end up basically just dead nose. Yeah, pretty much a no-harm chance for Steve Laycock to go for it if he wants to, but looks like he's just going to hit it. Sorry, Sean Meacham.
Yeah.
For Team Laycock.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd there. Sometimes I just didn't quite understand Bryden's motivation to try to make the roll there after playing the whole end. Not really looking for the roll, at least not early in the game. In the end, when it might have been a little bit better time to go. If you're really serious about going after two, blanking works good for him though. So. Be close.
Here's the hit, and that is half decent roll. It's not an automatic deal anymore now. Blank is certainly there if you want it.
Yeah, it was a good try by Meacham. I had no question that Sean rolls it another few inches, and he's going to force Bryden into probably taking one.
So Bryden talking with his third Bukarek. As to the broom placement, Bukarek, along with Stephanie Bukarek, won the 2023 Saskatchewan Mixed Doubles Curling Provincials. It's a blank. If it's going to be a blank end, I had to get a fun fact in. It looks like he probably is going to take one here. We'll find out.
Yeah. It's just. It seems like he's taking enough ice that it doesn't appear that he'd be throwing anything that would work as a blank end to me. But
final stone of the second. This needs to come on in for Bryden. They're working over hard. Going to make contact well. It's going to hit and stick, and they'll get their single. we're all tied up after 2 at 1. Or we're not.
Well, our scoreboard's off there, so it's. I was just
That
saying to you, I was thinking that was the last rock, yeah.
That confused me.
Yeah.
Okay, so just act like that never happened. You all seen that famous movie, Men in Black? Just look right over here, folks. We have a little eye test for you to take. Sean Meacham, Filestone to the third, looking for the blank. And away it goes. And away goes my dignity, and I'll try to find it when I come back. You're watching Curling Stadium.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Sasktel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? Sasktel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back to the fourth end of this wonderful game of curling from Swift Current, Saskatchewan. It's the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series. I'm Dave, he's Jim. And it's the fourth end. Steve Laycock still has hammer. We are still tied at 1. Laycock's team with Sean Meacham at the helm has that corner guard up. See one rock that on the side of the forefoot almost looked as if it may have picked her over curled. So now you see Stone on the way from Jaiden Whitmire. The center guard comes up. Ford available to get to it.
Yeah, I assume that Bryden went in the house in the first shot and it just curled a little bit past the center where I think it would be, and Meacham's corner guard was almost guarding it, to be honest. So
here's Austin Krupski. He is looking to thread that needle. Now that stone is still on the no-tick zone. Is it off the center line? Very, very close.
now we had this debate the other night at our club about whether or not it had to go back or if the non-offending team had the option of leaving it. And I thought it had to go back, but according to the rules, the non-offending team doesn't have to put it back. So I don't think Bryden would want to put it back anyways. I think he would just as soon leave it there.
Yeah, certainly his option. That is the rule with it. But Yeah, I agree. That's in a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Because you throw this next guard and you're shot stone underneath all kind of gaggles of cover. And Meacham's going to have to start bailing after this rack, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So here's Carter Williamson. This one a little strong for a guard. You got to bring it in now. Oh, no, it does stop check up.
No shortage of curl on that, actually. That one got a reasonable amount of curl, so Josh is at least figuring it out. I thought it looked like a lot of ice, but it's perfect.
You would think that Meacham and Team Laycock would have a good handle on this, being from Swift Current.
Yeah, for sure.
That rearranged the furniture just a little bit, but did leave them sitting too. Did not get that all the way out.
Helpful though. Basically all of the opposition guard stones are all gone, and anything out there is yours.
So Carter Williamson. And the right-hander delivers. Really trying to help this guy over and drag it for weight. That's a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I'm not sure if that's where he was going or if he's trying to get around and tuck a little bit behind the red, but either way, it's pretty good where it is.
Looks like that Meacham's going to ask Bryden to take on this double takeout.
Yeah, with some weight too. He hasn't got a lot of ice there.
Trying to hold it hard. Get on down to it. 1 and 2, and out the door it goes. Take on this double takeout.
See the replay here. It comes out with a lot of weight on it. Yeah, with some weight too. He hasn't got a lot of ice, so much easier to control it this way. And it makes it perfect and actually rolls into the
house. Trying to hold it hard. Get on down to it. 1 and 2, and out the door it goes.
With that.
It is shot stone. You have to make sure you keep your shooter on the rings here. You'd like to, at least.
Yeah, I like to get a little roll to the center just so Meacham has to play it.
And this is going to be a nice roll. It does come to the center. Gives Meacham the opportunity to roll underneath his own guards. Now you see they're starting to make adjustments for the ice, just on the edge of the stone now.
Yeah, you got a lot of room to roll to here if you can get it right.
Grindheim on it hard. Really hard. It's going to catch it. And where does it come to it? That rolls beautifully underneath the staggered cover. But now it actually didn't make it all the way under the cover. Kind of spun back there at the end. Tight port, though.
It is a very tight port.
The stagger is really the wrong way. So do you take that on, Jimmer, or do you just draw around everything?
No, I think I would, without the hammer, I'm probably going to play this. It's just, I don't know if I'm going to play the in-turn. I know that, like you said, the stagger's not quite right on the in-turn, but it's a better chance to stay. So if there's enough room there, we just can't really see exactly, but if there's enough room there, then this would be the right turn. Just looks more difficult to me. You don't want to touch that front one.
And touching the front one's exactly what you're going to do. Leave your own right there in front. Now opportunity there for Meacham now. And he's not going to make it too complicated, just going to throw a big split on it.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything real fancy here. He's not playing to get 3, he's just going to play to get 2. So just split the house, make sure it's shot rock, and probably T-line or a little bit behind the T-line would be best.
Well, it is T and a little bit behind the T line, and a lot more behind the T line, and all the way behind everything.
Yeah, definite missed opportunity there. Now, mind you, Bryden doesn't exactly have a gimme as far as getting the other red one out over here, but it would have been a lot nicer if he had been able to stay on that.
Yeah, and you almost have to play it that way, playing the double run, because I think if you hit what if you go hit it, it's going to jam on that yellow on the 12-foot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this makes more sense.
You make this right, you have a chance to be sitting too.
Yeah. It's not a real hard shot. You basically just have to hit just off nose, and you can probably get it a little bit away with it. If you're just a half an inch either way, you're probably still going to be okay.
So Josh Bryden. A little opportunity here to flip the script on Meacham. His first of the 4th. On the 1-2, and you did lose the shooter, and you pushed in your opponent for what might even be shot rock right now.
Yeah, I think it is. A little bit unlucky on that. That was, obviously it could happen because it did, but it was, the odds of that happening weren't really there. If you had just hit a little bit on the outside, you would have been fine, but didn't work out quite as well as he'd hoped. And yeah, I think red sitting one for sure.
That was quite unfortunate. So big opportunity for Meacham and Steve Laycock's team.
Yeah, second shot in a row, really, that he's had to draw to sit 2, or the team has had to draw to sit 2. So you're not going to get too many of those opportunities. You got to take advantage when you do, especially just a relatively easy shot like this. So Sean just need to bear down here, find draw weight, put it over there on the edge of the 8-foot somewhere, and it should be pretty good shape.
Meacham with his first in the 4th. Grindheim saying it needs to grind. Now it did grind. Now you got to get it there to a good spot. That's going to be just fine. A little bit deeper. Make that a tough double. That's going to be just fine.
Yeah, just about a perfect spot. I think you could go back another 2 feet if you want, but imagine the sweepers after the last one going through were a little bit hesitant to be too aggressive on the brooms, and just makes the roll just a little tiny bit tougher is all if you're back a little bit further. And some people say, well, I don't want to go behind the tee line because you might draw to it. Well, that's where you got to scoreboard management comes in a little bit. You got to understand that the guy's not going to draw it at one game, so he'll take his chances. You'll roll out or whatever. He's prepared to give up 2, but he can't afford to take a chance of giving up 3, just with not really good opportunity to score.
So here goes Josh Bryden. He gets a hit. It's going to roll. Can they get it all the way under cover? Yes, they can. That's a pretty darn good shot.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
So here goes Josh Bryden.
I say come in here. It's to call this perfectly, throw the right weight and ice combination.
He gets a hit.
And then
it's going to roll. Can they get it all the way under cover?
A 6-foot roll or so. Six.
Yes, they can. That's a pretty
that's a great call. And
darn.
Well done.
So now from what looked like a slam dunk for 2. This is a cutesy little shot to get it. They certainly had to go for this, right, Jim?
Yeah, I think so. If you feel that it's there at all, and it certainly looks like it would be there. Although, it's going to have to curl for you. But I think this is there, and drawing the button is no guarantee either. So I would play this for sure.
Sean Meacham, final stone of the 4th end. Needs to get around this guard, down weight. Krupski trying to bring it over. This has some curling to do. Can it get up to the face? It makes the hit. Will it clear it far enough? No! And it will be a steal of 1 for Josh Bryden. Hang 1 for yellow. It's 2-1 after 4. You're watching Curling Stadium.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice bat has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline, join the revolution.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's going to make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Welcome back to Swift Current. And after that absolutely fabulous precision roll by Josh Bryden, he gets that steal and has the 2-1 advantage here. Like Sean Meacham with the hammer here in the 5th.
Yeah, what made that so impressive as well was that teams had been trying a lot to make some of the smaller, shorter rolls, and not too much luck. Had a couple, but not most of them weren't really making those rolls. And here was, a 6-footer that they had to make perfectly, and they did. So, or they were giving up 2 if they don't. So, yeah, it was impressive. Well done.
Yeah, 3-point swing there, and first stone from Whitmire is on the top of the lid, and now trying to put a center guard up on top. And they do get it up there. It is on the center line, so it can't be ticked off. But not really terribly deep.
Yeah, a little bit long, but
Austin Krupski. This is tight to that guard. Tight to it. Oh, it does clear it. And it's going to make the takeout and sit right there. There was not much room for imagination.
No, you watch this go down. There was not. I'm not sure there was room to get by that, but he did, so he must have been.
This is tight to that guard.
This is so
tight to
close.
It. Oh, it does clear it.
Inch or something
and
like
it's going to make the takeout and sit right there.
Beautiful.
And of course, had they ticked that off the center line, they would have had to lose the stone. So now Carter Williamson tried to do the same thing, and he will not be successful. Move the guard over just a touch. And hang on at the back of the 12-foot. And Bukarak kicked that in the way by, and Meacham just made sure it's in the same place.
So early in the end, but they are, they now have an opportunity to maybe get that deuce that they didn't get last end. A lot of rocks to come, but chance to get it started.
So the first on the way from Bryden Grindheim. Another one that's going to wick off that guard. That guard is seeing a lot of action.
It is. Yeah.
So looking at the port, it's there. You got to come in there with some weight, though, if you want to do it.
Yeah, you got to take some of the curl out of it for sure. Looking hard at this, it looks to me like you've kind of got to go in turn, but again, it was the same thing last time when we had to go through a staggered port. It was, there's not a lot of room on the out turn to make it, but that's the turn you'd like to throw at it.
So they are setting up for the in turn. Carter Williamson has to thread this hole, make the takeout and roll and recover. Pretty quiet weight on it right off his hand. Needs to come up. Clear past the guard. Now work it over to get the roll. You do? And where does it end up? Oh, came out a little bit too far out the other side, I would say.
Yeah, quite a bit. You think you got to go maybe a little closer to that guard than you do to get that roll, but first plan had to be to get through the port. Once you get through the port, then figure out where you can make the best roll, and they just couldn't quite hold it once it got through there.
They actually tried to work it over, too, which I don't think it was probably optimal at that point.
No.
So Grindheim with his second. And they managed to tuck it beautifully under cover. Very well executed.
Yeah, that's a great roll. Teams are getting much better with that rolling stuff here the last couple ends.
Yeah, it just took them a little minute to figure it out. Good teams are always going to figure out the ice. Like you say, he's playing just a little bit more traditional without that huge turn on the blinker and go hard to port type of curl at the end. So now here we see one coming from the inside out. And can they work it over? This has got a long way to go. Gonna be close. Gonna be really close. Gotta move it just a skosh and clear it.
Well, that was some great sweeping. I didn't think he'd ever get that over there that far, but
long
let's
way
see
to
it
go.
again. Right here, it's still a long ways out, but
gonna be close. Gonna be really close.
Carving all the way and
gotta
hit about a quarter
move
of a
it
rock.
just
A rock,
a
so
skosh.
managed to stay even
and clear it. That is a lot of curl from the inside out. Now looking to draw underneath their own is Chris Heichert. And he does nicely to the top four.
Yeah, that's very nice.
You gotta be a little bit careful here if you're Josh Bryden and you want to play that run, but you got two different rocks to catch on back there.
Yeah, you're right. It's a little bit of trouble on going each way, like whether you're going to hit it on the left side or the right side. There's rock back there to catch it in every case.
So here it comes from Bukarek. This one's going to go high up and over the top. Clip thrown in the back on the way out.
Yeah, just need to curl up another little bit, another inch or so, and they would have had it.
So now you see Meacham looking to curl underneath the long yellow. Now, looks like they're opting to go under their own, maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to see which turn he's showing here. Yeah, so he's going
on the out.
Yeah.
So this needs to get over the top of this yellow first. Got to work on over. You're there. Now come on over and settle on in. You're past everything. Now just get that depth right, boys. Get that depth just perfect, and it settles down. That is a pretty good shot.
Yeah, that was two really terrific draws by Laycock.
Now it does appear the angle's there for the double, but do you want to take that on right now?
I'm not so sure. I think you've got to just play a hit and roll here and go for the double and don't make it. You could easily come around maybe even the same spot, and you might end up giving up your three. Go ahead and try to make the roll, and worst case scenario, you're going to give up a deuce.
Taking very, very little ice here. Won't be surprised if he's actually taking a run at this, Jim.
Yeah, based on the ice, I would say you're a very good chance you're right.
So Josh Bryden.
This rock basically doesn't curl. You need this rock not to curl at all, or just, half an inch or something like that maybe, but.
Josh Bryden going for the big double takeout here. It looks pretty close. On the one, walk on over, push it out. It does jam. Does it clear it off? Yes, it did. What a fantastic shot by Josh Bryden. Josh Bryden going for the big double takeout here.
The broom was basically right there.
It looks pretty close.
It's the exact
on
same
the
spot.
one,
Makes it
walk
perfect. Stays
on
with it.
over, push
Tosses
it
back
out.
one, but he couldn't really
It
keep
does
everything.
jam. Does it clear it off?
Very nicely done.
So now you're Sean Meacham. You thought you had something going on. And you know what? You still kind of do. I mean, that you can get to that stone and get underneath cover and make it really tough again.
Yeah. If you can just get a little bit of that inside roll, just get over there another, half the 12-foot or so, or even just hanging on the outside of that rock would be fine.
And Sean's a pro. He can keep his chin up here and just make a good one here. On with nice easy weight. Pass that top guard, no problem. Now come on over. We've seen it finish here before. Really tight to that guard where you get all the way up to the nose and then some, and even get a skosh of a roll. Great shot back by Sean Meacham.
Yeah, that was nicely done as well. It was tough to get enough roll to roll under, but he got a little, like you say, just got a little, whatever that word was you said for a roll.
A skosh. It's
a little wee bit. Let's go with that.
A wee bit. Yeah.
Looked it up. That was the translation, and it was in the dictionary there. So just a wee bit of a roll, and forces Bryden to do something with it, which is all he could really do at that point.
I blame my parents for that one. Just put a skosh of sugar into that.
Well, that's okay. I like it. Maybe it really does mean a wee bit.
Yeah, pinch, yeah. Wee bit. It's the Pennsylvania Dutch coming out. Back and forth in this one. This should certainly make contact. Avoid the jam. It does jam and does not roll out.
Bit of bad luck there. You got a pretty nice roll, but with that one on the back, not quite nice enough.
So, Sean Meacham will have a shot for two here.
Yeah, not an easy one, but definitely makeable.
Final stone of the fifth. Working it hard to get past the guard. Got to get past that guard. You get past it, you do. Make contact, push it through, and that's how you score two. 3-1 in favor of Meacham and Team Laycock. Bryden will have the hammer when we return on Curling Stadium.
Handcrafted in Canada, Artline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
And we're back here from Swiss Current, Saskatchewan. It's the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series. Presented here on Curling Stadium and the Stadium Sports Network. We got a good one here between Sean Meacham, who is skipping Team Laycock today, versus Josh Bryden from Regina. It was Meacham with a big deuce, hard-fought deuce in the fifth end. And now Bryden has the hammer in the sixth end and would expect both teams to get into it here. We have a long center guard up for Meacham. On the forefoot, and Krupski will make the takeout, roll just a little bit off to the side. I'm Dave Schmel, joined by Jim Nix. And Jim, in a moment, will be taking us around the rings with an update. Widmeyer with that hit and stick, no problem there.
So yeah, Dave, so on just a bit of an update across the sheets here, we've got a lot of close games, actually. You've got Dylan Dirksen and Shane Cornelson, both from Saskatchewan here, tied up at 3 after 5. We've got Jason Jacobson from Saskatoon ahead of Carl DeConnick Smith from Swift Current here, 3-2 after 4. Kelly Knapp from Regina and Michael Kars from Saskatoon. Knapp up 4-1 after 4. We've got Dustin Kaltoff from Saskatoon up 6-0 on Daryl Sobering from Denver, Colorado. You know our score here. And finally, Brandon Ross from Swift Current is up on Logan Eade from Saskatoon, 4-3 after 4 ends. So all close games pretty much.
Well, thank you, Jim, and thank you to everyone who is joining us here on Curling Stadium. We very much appreciate having you join us here. If you have not clicked on that subscribe button, give us a like and a subscribe. It really does help out the channel and the algorithms and such. You can follow all your favorite teams on Curling Zone and Curling Stadium. Curling Stadium YouTube has playlists for all your favorite teams. And also have as a separate playlist with all the various commentated games. We're working very hard to try to get this stone to come on over. It's going to kiss the Meacham stone and just kiss it further undercover.
Very aggressive call now for Sean Meacham if he ends up playing what he called. Looks like the team thought maybe that wasn't the best plan.
I think he's making the argument here that the next one would bring a double into play.
No surprise here, really. I think it's that would have been a very aggressive move without Hammer to tuck around that center guard again with this early, but looked like he might.
Krupski held that one out sufficiently. That's going to take this one right just off nose. Got a little bit rolled to the outside. So now Bryden's going to draw down a shot rack.
Yeah, 6 in for Bryden. He needs to ideally score more than one here, but at least make sure he scores. But he really would like to get 2 if he could. I'm sure he'd like to get 3 or 4, but 2 would be a start on that.
This is going to be really tight in the guard. And another one wrecks. It wrecked right into the draw path for later. So now certainly is the time to shift gears here, I would think a little bit, Jim.
Yeah, I think so too. He's actually going short with this. I wouldn't. I think I would like to come right to the top of the 8 foot, but his call is just a foot or two off the rings and plug that hole. If the line is good, it wouldn't hurt if this one did come in a little bit, but that's not the call at this point.
Stone from Heikart is taking the curl now. Does indeed plug the hole.
Yeah, good shot. Chris has got a handle on the weight here now in this game. He's bang on in all of these. Bryden needs something here because he's getting in a little bit of trouble here.
So looking at the angles for the double peel here. There's a odd chance he could get all three going.
Yeah, it might be a little bit long for that. He'd have to hit about, well, if you're talking about the one on the button, he'd probably have to hit only a quarter of that top rock, maybe a third at most to even have a chance of hitting it. So he'd be pretty happy to get rid of two of these.
Peel attempt on the way. On the one, off and over. You do go over the top of the corner. Leaves Meacham still sitting two.
Yeah, that's about all he could get accomplished on that shot, really. And he just needs to, like Heikart, not make quite as good a guard and give him a little bit of something to work with.
And once again, Heikart has that weight dialed in pretty good.
Yeah, he really does. And that one's perfect. Stops just short, so Bryden can't really, well, it could happen, but unlikely that he would roll onto the rings, which would force you to have to kind of go ahead and play it and not worry about trying to steal a point. Double's definitely makeable as well.
Shooter asking the skip to stand behind the object rack. On the way from Bukarek. Hard to hold this. Really close. On the one, bang, and it jams on over. Does touch the other rack, but still leaves Meacham line two. Now they can come right around to line three.
Yeah, he's definitely not out of trouble yet. Meacham puts this in around there, top 4 foot. He's going to be probably forced to play the same thing again. At least it'll be his own rock this time, but regardless, it's still a 6 or 8 foot raise, which is not easy.
Sean Meacham with his first in the sixth. few late licks there from Krupski. Does get the center line. It does fall right behind the tee line. So here's your opportunity if you're Josh Bryden.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right that, Sean Meacham's shot just went just a little bit too deep and is now giving you a pretty good chance to get out of this end. You're in deep trouble now. You actually still have a chance of possibly pulling a deuce out of here. But the skip's deuce, if you can make this one really good. Just might not be enough curl to get to the inside of that one. Looking like a freeze call, really, more than anything else here.
Well, the hope would be to freeze here dead on and then maybe run your own back with your last to get two.
Yeah.
Certainly have to make this one first.
Yeah, and it's a big end to score. We talked about it before, and you score one here, at least score one here, and you're going to be theoretically in control of the hammer coming home, and that's what you really like to do. So you'd like to get two, but one's not bad even in this end.
Josh Bryden with his first of two here in the sixth, and this is not light.
Yeah, it's not never going to come over far enough.
That wasn't even freeze weight. It is all the way back to the hack. So now Bryden's going to be in one boatload of trouble after this stone.
Yeah, it really is. You couldn't be heavy on that. You could get away with it being a little bit light, even if you're 8 foot. You couldn't be top 12, but even if you're 8 foot, it would have been not terrible, but that was not good.
So I saw the motion towards the top of the 4 foot. Do you like that as opposed to a dead freeze, Jim?
Yeah, I like top 4, top 8 even here is fine with me. Problem with I think I have a better chance. Right now I'm looking at trying to steal now because it's turned around, and I think I have a better chance to steal if I'm not playing the perfect freeze. If the freeze gets just a little bit offline, then it's pretty easy double for Bryden to score. And I think if I'm just short here, quarter buried, it's going to be really tough. You take the raise away, and I think this might curl too much.
Yeah, this is over curling already. It's on the guard for sure. Now the question is, does it make it easy? And it didn't.
No,
He's still going to throw the run.
Yeah.
So Josh Bryden finds himself forced here.
Yeah, to score, he pretty much has to play the tap back or the run back, one of the two, whichever one you like with the Yellowstone. For a minute, I thought they might be looking at hitting the 2 outside ones, or just talking about it. At least at this point, is do we want to hit those outside ones and give them 1? Be down 2 playing 7. I don't cherish that, so I think you've got to at least attempt to make this tap back with the yellow. If you can find the right weight, if you can find something in that back 4, back 8 weight, that's all you need. You don't need to remove it. Not an easy shot, though.
Definitely worth talking about. The key shot of the game right now.
Yeah, these are shots that are difficult because the longer you take to figure it out, sometimes the more difficult it becomes. You kind of got to say, well, what are we going to do? What do we want to throw for weight? Are we trying to hit this, or are we trying to just tap it up? If you're tapping it up, make that call, and don't worry about what the other one is. You get a little bit hard in the head. You get 2 shots or 3 shots in your mind. That doesn't work well in this situation. So
So judging by the ice here, probably playing backline or hack weight.
Yeah, I would think that would be reasonable.
Key shot for Josh Bryden here, facing 3. Final stone of end number 6. This is out there. This has to curl over. This has to curl a lot. It's coming on up. It's not going to get there now. Where's it going to hang? It will cut them down to 1 to steal 1 for Team Laycock and Sean Meacham. They take a 4-2 lead into end number 7. Bryden will have the hammer again when we return from Swift Current.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like 1 more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Welcome back to Swift Current. It's the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series. Presented here on Curling Stadium for you. I'm Dave Schmel and Jim Nix, Jaiden Bishop on our production. It was a steal for Chris Heikart and the Laycock rink, and Josh Bryden has to go all out here, Jim.
Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate. The last time for him was a key in to score, and he wasn't able to pick one up. But, yeah, you know, down 2, you really got to at least start this in with the intent of trying to manufacture a 3 so that you're only down. So you're up 1 coming home rather without. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you get 2, you're still got a shot in the last end. But 3 would be the plan for sure.
So with just a single corner guard up, they're going to come down to the stone in the rings. Jaiden Whitmire. His cohorts are trying to drag it. They came in contact with the guard, but they never moved it off the center line.
No, that's not super helpful.
So now here's Bryden and Grindheim. They're looking to bring another one into the rings now. It's up to Josh Bryden to chase him. Just keep on applying that pressure. And they just get past their own nicely and right to the lid.
Woo. A very nice throw. To put that
Josh
right
Bryden
spot was
chasing.
very, very difficult.
Just
You
keep
can see
on
this
applying
coming
that
in.
pressure.
It's by the top guard, not too bad, and it just barely gets by your own, which is
And they
key.
just
there.
get
Stays
past their
perfect.
own nicely. Now, because that first shot in was far too shallow, they have no choice but to make some sort of play towards the rings now. Doesn't have to be crazy weight. Tap the one, move it back, just release it a little bit. I think that's a pretty good outcome.
That's a very good shot, yeah.
Did pop the Meacham Stone out into the open. Obviously, they have a run available, which they will certainly take on, but still has to be made.
Yeah, and you can only get so much out of a shot sometimes, and they got what they wanted out of that last one, and that's all they could do. Now they need a little bit of good fortune to go their way here, and they might have a shot at multiple score here.
Krupski trying to hold this hard. It's going to come right up to the nose. Makes the run back. Lies right there. It's red line 1 and 2.
Yeah, some very nice shots here going on.
So they're electing to play back their own yellow. Would you ever be tempted, Jim, to draw around and leave that there and try to play in really tight? I know there's not a lot of room to work with, but...
Well, I think the last part of your statement is what's key here. Is the problem with it is there's just not going to be enough room to get multiple rocks in there, and so I think the idea of playing this, if they can get this to curl enough, but if it doesn't touch anything, it's a disaster. So that's unfortunate because now they're really in trouble.
Well, the Hindenburg was unfortunate. That was a disaster.
Okay. So it'll be interesting to see what Meacham decides to do here. I assume he'll come right around and go top 4, top 8, somewhere in there. Bryden is really, really in trouble right now.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be any harm in coming in here.
No, and they've had such a good handle and draw weight the last few ends that, the only thing bad here, if you slip to the back of the button, would be not good, but they're in pretty good shape right now.
Absolutely, and especially High Card has had absolute command the last couple ends on the draw weight. And just as I say that, he leaves one light.
Yeah. The announcer's jank, they say.
Yep.
But still not bad, really. I mean, Bryden's still in big trouble here.
Well, I like where Bryden's head's at, if that's what he's thinking about doing. Thought for a second he might chase through that port. And if you take out that red, then there's plenty of room to work with.
Oh. It seems like that'd be very optimistic.
I think it's there, buddy. We flip to the long shot.
I think it's there to get the top one. You think it's there to get both?
I think it. No, I'm talking about coming around. Coming past the corner guard.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jaiden, if you can give us a hack view. There we go. Come past that yellow corner guard. Nice and easy. And then you can take out that shot stone. And then you just generate your own space, and the angles are not set up for Meacham to chase it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, but it's there.
Because ultimately, if you bail out here, sure I don't think you're ever going to be able to get back to a blank here.
No, I don't think so either. If you play this shot of your Bryden, I think you can make this to get number 2 out and stay there, but I don't know how you ever get around here to this one on the edge of the button. He seems to be determined to want to play this one, though. He's not really given a whole lot of thought to the outturn through the hole, which I agree with you in the sense I think that's the better outcome if you can make it.
Yeah, I think Bukarek tried to sell it, but he's also being a good third here and making the skip feel good about this shot.
Yeah. If you don't get through here, you might at least get rid of a couple of reds in the front and have a little bit better opportunity to get in somewhere to score. So the slide.
So Bukarek trying to get his team out of trouble. And we're going to move some of the deck chairs around. Ooh, rattles off. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I thought he might be able to get rid of both reds and leave his yellow somewhere, even if it had kind of come into the 12-foot somewhere. But it's just a little bit squirrely on the delivery and had to kind of put it back and never did what it was supposed to do.
So now Heikert's going to try to replace the garden, maybe make it a little bit better. This does need to curl some. Now it does take that curl. Just drag it a little bit for weight. It's going to end up. That's about spot on. Perfect. Now I don't think either shot's there.
Yeah, stuff. Well, he threw the whole doubles there now, but.
Yeah. You got to do that, I guess.
Yeah. If you could ever make it, though, if you can ever make it, you're going to be in. You might be able to get a little bit of a flop behind a guard, and probably Meacham probably runs a guard and get one miss. You're at least in shape to get 2. Needs to make this one though.
So Bukarek shucks on the way. Gotta get through the hole. Brushing it hard to get by. Hard to get by. Yes, you do. You get one, and you stuff it under cover again. Just didn't quite get there.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get more of a kick off of that one. I didn't know if he'd get them both out, but I figured that one would at least be wide open when it was done. And unfortunate, because he just barely got by. Which I guess was the problem. He didn't need to be quite that tight, I guess. But anyway.
You have to make a good one here if you're Sean Meacham, because there's access to that stone you just delivered.
Yeah.
To run, and it wants to go right back to the shot stone right now. So you need to. I don't know where exactly how deep you want this to be.
Well,
I guess you'd love to get underneath and foul that run.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're going right into biting the 4-foot here.
Sean Meacham's. Just gotta go. And I don't know if it's second shot.
No, it looks like it probably isn't on the overhead, but
ultimately I don't think it matters because I think you have to run your own yellow here.
Yeah. He's looking at coming through. He's just looking at everything right now, trying to figure it out.
I mean, well, you had the long angle raise that you could possibly get to the 4 foot. It doesn't look to be in the way of your own yellow, but
no.
Easier shot to make is the yellow that's right there on the center line.
Yeah. The other shot I think that you pointed out would be the last rock at the end kind of a shot if it was
sure
a desperation shot to score multiple points or to score one or whatever it might be. So it looks like he's going to try this through the whole shot again.
And actually, if you could ever throw this with enough weight where you hit it, you might be able to roll just enough to get second shot out of it.
Yeah, possibly.
It's going to have to be perfect, but I think we're at that stage of the game.
Well, it's not quite as convinced what that signal meant, but anyway, guys down the other end are indicating what they'd like, I think. Switching turns on this.
I think you want to throw the in turn.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you'll get a little bit more action off your shooter. And it will also be rotating the right way to make this shot.
So Josh Bryden with his first here in the 7th. Big shot, trying the run back, hoping to roll and lie too. Off and on. Needs to come up. Did we overcook it? Oh, yes, we did. And we reckon the guard. Just missed the brush call there.
Yeah, really, really tough. They were trying to be really, really tight to that outside one, which they had to be, but they managed to hold it out there a little too much. So. Big Sean might play the hit on the yellow.
That seems like the best way to make sure you don't give up two.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you say, well, does it come with any risk? It probably comes with slight risk, but the ice hasn't shown us that it's going to really go crazy hard on you, and your brooms can hold it out there pretty good. So he's got a couple pretty good ones on the front end. I think they'd be able to, if this was going to be a little tight or anything, he'd be able to hold it there anyways.
And we just saw the stone from Bryden come essentially down a very similar path.
Yeah. And it didn't, he was through it pretty hard, but it didn't do anything.
Sean Meacham with his final of 7th. And this one is taking off.
It really is.
Now go the other way, maybe.
Oh, no.
And this one, I'm going to blame you for this one, Jimmy.
Okay. I can take it. I wouldn't even have played it, so I could take it. Well, that's quite a turnaround.
So from rags to riches.
I have to assume he was pretty tight on that. He didn't throw it real hard, which I thought he would have thrown maybe a little more weight, but they had a reasonable amount of ice there, so I have to assume he was really tight.
Well, Josh Bryden should definitely check his shoe before he delivered this, because I think he might have stepped in something. Final stone the 7th. Just needs a piece of the 8. And they are on this right out of his hand. Now it still needs to curl off the guard. It's gonna get off the guard. Now he still has to get it there. and it will get there. No problem. Good rush by the front end. Score 2 for Josh Bryden. We're all tied up. Sean Meacham will have the hammer coming home.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Sasktel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? Sasktel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
And welcome back to Swift Current Saskatchewan. It's the S3 Group Curling Stadium Series. Brought to you by the S3 Group, Sasktel, Bumper to Bumper, Hardline, and Asham Curling Supplies. Dave Schmel and Jim Nix here with you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Curling Stadium. And Josh Bryden has to be thanking his lucky stars as he's even playing this end.
Yeah, that was just a disaster for the Laycock team there. You come up to throw your last one, and you're sitting probably two at that point, one well guarded, and you just decide to get rid of the only yellow rock in play, and you run it back on your own and give up a draw for two. But the hardest part about that is just forgetting about it. Really, to be honest, it's you like you say, you're in a good position there to maybe steal one or something and get close to a handshake position, and now you're playing in a tie game, but you got to regroup and get at it. And team's been playing well, so it was just one unlucky shot at the end, and that was to turn the tables.
Yeah, you have to have that goldfish memory if you're ever going to throw last rocks.
Yeah.
So you see both guards up. Team Bryden in full-out steal mode. Meacham with one on the 8-foot. Going to ask Austin Krupski, subbing in a lead this weekend, to draw it right on in. Steve Laycock, of course, is off playing mixed doubles right now in the Olympic qualifier event. This one is curling quite a bit. It just does paper the guard, and it will settle on down just a touch behind the tee line.
Yeah, just that little bit turns what should have been a great shot into maybe not such a great shot if Bryden can make a good one here. Really early in the end, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just need to be in front of that one somewhere. Meacham won't want to be fooling around with it a lot. He'll probably be getting rid of guards here in a minute.
This one is going to be on the guard, and you can already see Carter is not happy with himself there. They held that a lot better than I thought they were going to.
I agree 100%, Dave. When you were saying that, I was with you all the way, and then I thought, like, man, it just barely rubbed.
I was just going off of Carter's reaction initially.
Yeah.
It's usually a pretty safe bet.
Yeah.
But now, 6th rock of the end. Time for the Peel Fest.
While they're taking a second here, just give you a final update on what's going on across the sheets, and it's a story of 4 enders here tonight, where Cornelson picks up 4 in the 7th end to take a 7-4 lead in his game. It was Dirksen. Jacobson takes 4 in the 5th end to win his game 8-2 over Smith. Knapp's up 6-2, no 4s in that game, and Kaltov beat Sobering out of the U.S. 8-2. And then Logan Ede picked up 4 in the 5th end to defeat Brendan Ross, or not defeat. I guess they're still playing. It's 8-4 after 7.
Yeah, Dustin Kaltov. We had a couple of. He was in another one of our events this season, and he really struck me by his drawing ability. They were fantastic as a drawing team.
Yeah.
So the first guard peel is just said, a straight peel. We need to get our marketing department on getting like a banana sponsor for peels.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we'll take it wherever we can get it, right?
Well, it'd be good.
Those are pretty close to each other.
It'd be the Chiquita banana peel. Yeah, that would go.
Yeah.
Be almost like the Savannah bananas or whatever they are. So.
Oh, sure, yeah. They came to Philadelphia and they had 46,000 people in the stands.
I know, it's amazing to me. They're fun to watch, the little clips you see, but yeah, it was amazing how many people they put in some of the stadiums.
Here's the peel attempt. Well, they moved 2 and actually had their own stone back up on them.
It's an interesting call here. I'm not quite sure what Josh Bryden will do. He's only got the one guard to work with.
I'd be tempted to throw a high one here.
I think I would be too, Dave. I think I'd throw one up there at least and see if I could get something working on maybe the intern side coming down here.
But at the same time, he sees that ripe and juicy stone to freeze on. That's tempting as well.
Yeah. It's still going to be there, though.
Selecting to come right on to the dance floor and take center stage. Here's Bukarek. This one is way out there. Nice second shot.
Yeah, the only good thing about that is you might have, you may end up increasing the pocket size to freeze on the next one.
It was good awareness to not try to carve that, I think. They could have, if they try to push that over, they could have drug it possibly behind the tee line.
Yeah.
Oh, further, rather.
Yeah. So Meacham looks at this and thinks maybe he wins it right here rather than peeling the guard. I think the guard is probably the one that's going to potentially hurt you the most here. I think I'm peeling the guard on this shot.
Yeah, because the one in the 8 foot doesn't hurt you because it's your color.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a talk about it. So, what are the options they're talking about here, Jim?
Well, obviously peeling the guard is one, and secondly, the outturn draw right into the button and kind of beat them in, I guess, would be theory would be there. And that's a good shot as long as you're not long, as long as you're right there, basically, or just you can go a couple inches deeper than that. But then that's a good shot because there's not a lot of opportunities for yellow here except for that the outside yellow that's out in the right-hand side as we look at the overhead. I don't think they'll do anything with the red one that's in the 8 foot. I don't see that being advantageous at all. And possibly if you peel it, do you want to peel it on that red one or do you want to just be the single peel? I'm thinking single peel, but I think that's all there is that I see anyways on this shot for these guys. I don't see the point of hitting the yellow one at the back. You could hit the yellow one as well, but it doesn't really do anything for you and might cause you some grief if you hit it on the nose. So.
Now I see them talking about maybe tapping up their rock on the 8 foot.
I always figure you have a straight draw or you have a tap. As far as the degree of difficulty of the shot, I think the tap is harder. You got to get two things right with that, and you don't have to maybe get two things quite as right on the other one. But so all things being equal, I think I'm just drawing whenever I can rather than trying to tap a rock 3 feet. Anyway, they've decided. Looks like a draw of some sort here. Just not quite sure how deep they want to go. I'm thinking they want to go, half 4 foot, maybe even full 4 foot, but they got to be behind the guard to do that.
Yeah, the draw is the call. On the way from high cart. It has plenty of line. Weight looks pretty close to what they called. It's going to park itself.
That's a great
right
shot.
there, full 4.
Yeah.
They like to.
High cart said just amazing draw weight, to be honest. That's perfect. Like I don't know how you could throw it any better.
It has plenty of line.
Watch the replay. There's not really anything happens
Weight
on this
looks
rock all the way down the
pretty close
sheet.
to what they called.
Just go, sweepers watch it. And
it's going to park itself.
it stops in the perfect spot.
Right there. He's like, yeah, boys, no problem. I got this.
Yeah. So you kind of force Bryden now into playing probably some kind of a double on this because he has to find a way in, and that can't be a good thing for you, Bryden at this point.
No, because he certainly liked having all the clutter.
Yeah, you just need a way to get in.
I think they're just trying to nudge this one off the center a little bit and leave their shooter around. They do make a pocket for themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So I say that's probably mission accomplished, really.
Yeah, I would think that would probably be what they're looking at. I'm sure that Sean Meacham looks at that yellow and thinks, I'm not going anywhere near that anymore.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well last time.
It's not his turn to throw it, so he can.
Yeah, he could blame Chris.
Problem is, if you take the yellow one out, you're going to leave that nice looking pocket there for.
And they'll just lay it right on in.
Yeah. So even though you may, he's not sure now what he's going to play. It doesn't look like a guard because I think you probably got to guard the yellow one more than you got to guard the draw.
I think he's going to play the red onto the yellow.
Red guard? Okay.
Yeah. Yep, run his own guard in, and that creates a nice, beautiful angle. Be really unfortunate to push the yellow into the rings, into that pocket now.
No, it looks like you're right, so good call. This looks okay.
High card, red, onto the yellow. Push it all the way out. So it opens it up. So now that shot was made nicely. And this is where the rubber's going to meet the road for Josh Bryden. You got to come there now, I think, don't you?
Well, you do. Yeah, you do for sure. But yeah, I think that was a tough call, but that seemed like the right shot. But if you were going to end up with this situation, I don't think it's quite as nice for Meacham as he'd like to see. But he has a couple of shots here because he's going to have to come in here and do something.
And no matter what, Meacham's going to have an angle on it from either the stone they're referencing right now in the top four, or they can generate it themselves. So nothing is going to be dead welded, so to speak.
No. But I think if you freeze to the rock that's just behind the 3, and freeze to it and don't move it more than a couple of inches, I think yours is in there in a pretty good position.
That's where they're talking about putting it.
Meacham will probably blast it because that would seem to be, if it stops right there, it could go out through the hole, I suppose. He's looking to tap on that one a little bit and rolling over. He won't be shot, but I don't know if that'll matter. I don't know if Sean will make a play on it or not.
Yeah, the team is having a discussion here. It looks like that Jaiden Whitmore is not a member of the Privy Council.
No. No. So it looks like they're calling the freeze. I don't know for sure what they're calling. It's so hard to tell. We're looking at brooms going. It's kind of like, looks like a freeze, and then it looks like, well, is he playing a little more than a freeze, or? I think he's playing a cold freeze.
I think a freeze is really all you got right now.
Yeah. Right on the nose of that's probably good. I don't know if you even want to get to the inside of that because I think it might be removable, if you will, if you get to the inside. So you might be better off just sitting right on the nose.
So Josh Bryden from Regina selling in to throw his first. He needs to find a way to generate a steal here in end number 8. On the way. It'll be Whitmore and Williamson. This needs to come on over. Now it does take the curl. Get that line just right. Coming down probably just a touch too heavy.
Just a little bit. It's hard not to overthrow that rock a little tiny bit, and his shot. A nose hit from Meacham here probably puts this one away because I don't see where Bryden would have another chance to score, but
team having a powwow. I figure, yeah, if you hit that dead nose, it's going to come off your own and go out the side door. You'll stay right there, and Bryden's looking uphill.
Yeah, he probably has to throw some sort of a triple. If they line up at least a little bit of a way to make a triple. That's the only scary part, is that could happen, and he could end up, we're looking a little far ahead, but he could easily end up sitting 2 with none of those red ones around if everything went perfect for Bryden. No shortage
So
of
Meacham with his stone on the way is coming with some heat. It's curling up. It does clear that out, and they lie shut. It is Bryden lying second.
I think a little too aggressive with that shot. I don't think he had to throw it that hard for starters. I think he could have easily just, so let's just hit it on the nose with just kind of normal weight and control where all the rocks went a little bit better, because now he's in a position where he could have a really hard shot to score, or he could hit no worse than he could be looking at 2 when he throws the last one, with the possibility of hitting and rolling out being a problem for him. So.
Do you like the dead freeze here?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I do, actually. I think I'm kind of leaning towards the little hit and roll. Dead freezes are always really, really hard, but the only reason I would even consider it is because of the fact he has that second rock in there. But I think I like this shot.
Or the other shot I see is if you were to corner freeze off on the right-hand side, as we see on the overhead, it would line up your stone if hit to possibly jam on the catcher there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he did just throw a, pretty decent shot on his last one. So.
Absolutely. So he's going to make Meacham draw here, it looks like. He just threw that nuclear missile.
Has to stay, though. No, I guess it doesn't matter. He'll probably still draw.
It does roll out. So Bryden lies the 1. It's half buried. Meacham will draw for the win.
Well, if nothing, Bryden accomplished this. 2 or 3 shots ago, I would have thought he was going to have a hard time getting to the point where Laycock's team, Meacham, had to make a draw against a loss, basically, to win this one.
So Sean Meacham, final stone and number 8. Needs full 8 and a little more. Brushers are staying with it the whole way. And they drag it there absolutely no problem. And you can hang one, and that'll be a win for Sean Meacham and Team Laycock. They take the win over Josh Bryden by a score of 5-4. And Jim, that game went back and forth and got a little dicey there at the end.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was an interesting game. I think it at times very well curled. Other times they just couldn't seem to buy a roll or whatever. But overall, pretty good game. And yeah, it got a little bit iffy at the end. It was, it looked like the last end looked pretty simple for the Laycock team, but it certainly didn't end up that way. It got a little bit messy at the end, but yeah, it was a good game.
Absolutely, and that will wrap up our coverage this evening on Curling Stadium. Our first broadcast is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and at noon, we'll have Steve Laycock's team versus Dylan Dirksen. And Jim and Terry will have the call. But for right now, for Jim Nix and Jaiden Bishop and all of us here at Curling Stadium, we thank you so much for watching. Have a pleasant evening.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Saskatchewan, you know Sasktel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With Sasktel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. Sasktel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sasktel.com/sponsorships.